Hi Capricorn, welcome to your reading. This reading feels like a very big reading. I've been kind of getting messages for this for days, if not a week almost. And there's a sense of seriousness with this reading. And so I think it reminds me that Capricorn is also the sign that it talks about our higher purpose. You know, Capricorn is the father archetype, and if we look at the astrological chart, it symbolizes the 10th house, which is at the top of our chart. And so I think it's very clear to many of us that, you know, the earth has been going through a lot of changes and shifts, and our 10th house has been activated a lot. You know, there's a lot of shifts happening within what we feel as our purpose. And so I think that that's why I'm feeling this enormous energy within the Capricorn archetype right now. It's like you are carrying the burden, the weight of the new earth on your shoulders. And so let me get into the meditation that I did before I get into and draw some cards for you. When I was meditating, I remembered something that my friend told me some time ago, years ago. She said that, you know, we tend to forget, as humans, we tend to forget that mountains are actually alive because they only breathe once every 10,000 years. And of course she was joking, but she was talking about something that's very important, and that's very important right now, particularly within our 10th house, or within the house where we carry Capricorn. It's almost like we're so used to seeing Capricorn as the goat that climbs the mountain. But we forget that Capricorn, the sign of Capricorn, is also the mountain itself. And that once every 10,000 years, the mountain, the foundation that we climb on, shifts completely. And so it feels like that shift has now completed. The foundation, the lower vibrational structure that keeps, you know, our higher consciousness in place has shifted. The mountain has shifted. And what I saw in my meditation was that when the mountain shifted, it shifted in a way that allowed for kind of like a starship to come in. You know, it rearranged itself in a different way. And when that happened, it created kind of like a landing ground for this starship to come in and to lock into place. And of course, you know, this is very symbolic. This is talking about us reconnecting with our higher self in every way, you know, in a physical way, in an emotional way, in an aware way, but also in a way, you know, we're connecting to it also through our actions. So it's like Capricorns have gone through, particularly, but everyone, you know, this is something that everyone is feeling. But I see the shift happening particularly in the Capricorn archetype. It's like we've been going through these massive shifts for years and years and years. It's been building up, and it's been so slow, and so, in a sense, you know, if you're not connected to the lower vibrations, if you're not naturally connected to the earth or to the darkness, to the dark feminine, you might not necessarily have felt it that much, because it's this bass frequency, it's this murmur, just underlying frequency that if you're not connected to it, you don't necessarily hear it. You don't hear that kind of a low frequency, but you feel it through your body. You feel that the earth is shifting, that it's shaking, and that it's rearranging. And so for those that have a lot of Capricorn energy in their chart, they have been in this shifting, this changing. And I think that for many it's been difficult because it's not that visible. Like I talked about, it's not everyone have been able to see it, to understand it. And so instead of maybe getting understanding, I feel that many of you have felt that you needed to protect yourself by creating space, by withdrawing back to your own sacred spaces, by spending more time kind of in darkness. And again, I think that this has been very beneficial. It is natural that life, or that the feminine, when she is about to give birth, is actually natural that she wants to withdraw. She wants to actually go back into a darker space, a space that feels secure, that feels quiet, so that she can prepare for birth. And so it's a huge, like I said, it's a big reading. It's a long intro. It's a lot of like preparational work, a lot of creating this foundation until we now have reached this place of the starship coming in, having landed on the mountain, clicked into place, and that created this union energy that now allows these new star seeds to be planted onto Earth. So the first card that came out for you was the black egg. And this is a card of the new growth, the new beginning that's coming in for you now. And I can instantly, when I took this card up and showed it, my computer instantly started speeding up, and I could feel the energy speeding up. It's like, when a helicopter comes in to land on ground, the closer it gets to the ground, the more turbulence is created around in the air. And this is what's happening now with these new star seeds. It's like as they are coming in out of the ship, of course this is all symbolic, right? But they're coming in out of the ship, and it's like any seed, they kind of need to be planted in the earth to start to take root, to start to grow, and to start to become strong and independent. And so right now they are extremely vulnerable, still extremely weak, and they kind of need to be protected. When they're still in this egg state or in this seed state, they still need to be protected. And so I still feel this need for caution, for withdrawal and protection within your sign. But at the same time, it's also a need for clearing. The other card that came out was the eagle in reverse. And so I think that you've been in this state for a long time, the eagle in the upright. I think that you've been in this perspective of, you've been up on the starship. You've been switching between being up there among the stars on your starship, on your ship, and then you've been down in the earth, amongst these lower vibrations in the mountain, within these parts of our reality that needs so long in order to change. So you've been switching between these two stages, but now I feel like it's, as these two have come together, they have unified, it's instead of working on the, what is this called? This is vertical, yeah. The vertical axis, you're now starting to work more on the horizontal. It's like you need to clear the space around you now to be able to plant these seeds. And so when this is in reverse, to me it actually feels like burning. It feels like a fire. It feels like burning down the old. It really gives me this hell vibe. And Capricorn is associated with the devil as well. It's associated with burning that which is no longer connected to the light, that which has become too ancient and too old to live on the surface of the earth. You know, we burn it, and so it starts to sink into the earth, and it becomes, you know, diamonds, carbon, oil, things that we can use in different ways. But it needs to disappear from the surface of the earth to be rebirthed at a later time, is what I'm feeling. It's very complex energies, and so I'm sorry if this is just completely ununderstandable, but it's just like I'm just trying to get it out. It's really, this egg is huge. It's huge, and it's very difficult to push it out, is what I'm feeling. It's like this new consciousness is so expansive, so it's like we're not able to mentally comprehend it even at this time. It's like we need to work with it in this, you know, I don't know if you've ever seen like a 3D printer working. You know, in the beginning, if you don't know the blueprint, the kind of the recipe of the 3D what the 3D printer is trying to print, it seems chaotic, right? It seems like it prints over here, then here, then here, then here, then here, moving all around. It doesn't seem like there's a structure to it. It's difficult to really see the full picture, the big picture, until some time has passed and until we're able to actually, you know, observe it again from a higher perspective. So I feel like you're walking right now very much based on intuition, and there's really a big need for you to be able to be comfortable with these darker energies, you know, these energies that are still unknown to us. And I think that you've been practicing this for a long time. I think that you've become very good at understanding the differences. You know, you've been good at seeing in the dark. You know how to sense the differences between dark energies. You know, some dark energies are evil, but most dark energies are not evil. It's just that they are unknown to us. And so I think that you've been practicing really being able to discern between different types of darkness. And so, long intro there, let's get into some cards. I'm also curious to see what comes through here for Capricorn. This is beautiful. Or is it now? I was saying this is beautiful because I saw the sun. But then when I looked at it, I also saw that this is kind of like an explosion. It's almost like a shattering. So that can mean many different things, you know. It can mean the cracking open of the seed, the cracking open of the egg. But it's like what I'm actually seeing is that the seed, the egg, is your heart. And it's like your heart has been contained within this structure made of stone. It's like you've had this stone heart that has been built up over the last 10,000 years. You know, it's karma. It's our collective karma that we have had to carry on our backs. You know, we become almost like completely unable to stand up straight, just looking down to the ground all of the time, not able to look up towards the stars. That's what it feels like, because we've had this stone heart. And now what is happening is that certain individuals, you know, this happens in waves, but it's like enough individuals have been going through this slow kind of, again, I'm being drawn back to these frequencies. You know, when frequencies, like a bass frequency, the way that it affects matter is that it just shakes it over time. It just destabilizes it over time, just like slowly makes it unstable and makes it like kind of come out of place until this threshold is reached, when it just falls. The mountain falls, or the structure around the heart is blasted open. And no doubt it's painful. I mean, it's like this has been a part of us for so long. And so again, this hell vibes, it's like we are, it's the experience of being burned alive sometimes is what I feel like. You know, I'm a Capricorn sun. I also have other planets in Capricorn, so I feel this energy a lot, and it feels like being burned alive. But I think that, you know, we also have the knowing that it's not, you know, I'm more than this. I'm more than the piece that is now being burned. And so I think that it's painful, this explosion. It has been triggered by a lot of pain over the past years. But when it happens like this, it's like a big release. And what it feels like is like the heart is finally, or the heart is finally without this armor of stone. And so it's extremely vulnerable. Actually, what I see when I see the heart like this is like that it's a little bird. It's a little baby bird. But and so it's without feathers yet. It's just so vulnerable. But I'm also seeing that it really gains its wings very rapidly. It's like it starts flapping straight away, and it's like it can fly straight away. So it knows how to keep itself kind of buoyant and floating is what I'm getting. So let's see, let's just get one more card here. It's already quite a long reading, so let's see. Anything else for Capricorn? I'm also just seeing these kind of doves just flying here in all directions, and so I'm getting that this is the return of the dove consciousness back to earth. Dove consciousness is a very, very peaceful consciousness. Is built on peace. It's complete surrender. It's having let go of the fear of death, and really working on forgiving and ascending everything on earth. And so the message I'm getting is that this is the return of dove consciousness to the surface of the earth. So let's see, there was another card that came out. This is the Eight of Pentacles. The spider creating a new matrix. And so, wow, okay. This is such an intense reading. It's like, oof. But what I'm getting is that the people amongst us that really resonate with holding this dove consciousness, they are kind of the initiators of the creation of this new matrix that we're building. And this is built on frequency, and so what I'm being shown is that when this new matrix is being built, it's like we've been operating on a lower, the matrix that we currently have is operating on a lower range actually of frequencies than what the new matrix is going to be built on. It's not so much that we are, moving into higher frequencies. It's just that we're expanding in both directions. And so we're actually moving into much, much lower and deeper frequencies. But because we need to, in order to hold the higher frequencies, on the other side of the spectrum, we need to be balanced as a species kind of here on Earth, is what I'm getting. And so it's not that we're just moving into higher frequencies. The higher frequencies become available to us because we are able to witness the lower ones as well. We're able to actually hold forgiveness for these very low, dense frequencies. And so maybe that makes sense to you if you have a lot of Capricorn in your chart. Because I think that if you've been in that energy, it has been very much about witnessing and finding forgiveness and understanding for that which felt to be completely unforgivable, and I feel like many of you have really gone down into the earth, the core of the earth, gone through history, and you've been looking and feeling into all of these old pathways where, life as a whole was operating on a much lower frequency than it is now. So much more pain, much more suffering. I think that that it's kind of pain that leads us to being able to also hold these higher frequencies in a very stable way inside our body. Because if we're not afraid of evil, if we're not afraid of pain, it means that if evil comes real close, real close, if death comes real close, we won't change our vibration to avoid death. We're still able to stand in our truth. We're still able to stand in our alignment, even if these darker energies come close to us. And so that's what it feels like you've been practicing. You've been practicing being comfortable with darkness, and I think it's been real challenging for you. But I also see that this now is a beautiful shift happening, when it's like you've reached that new threshold, that new kind of stability, where you are able to actually physically hold these new seeds that are coming in. You have you are going through a process right now where you're creating the space to hold more of these seeds. So I hope that kind of makes sense. It was a very symbolic reading. But yes, I don't think I can say anything more than this right now. So take care, Capricorn, and I see you soon. Bye.